All right, everyone. This is your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a Tuesday. This is the last Tuesday of the month of April, and we're in the fifth month starting this Thursday. The purpose of this video is to uh, let you guys know about the seriousness. Okay, we got a background noise here, so I may have to come out and come back in because I'm getting feedback. Give me 1 second. I'm going to come right back because I'm getting feedback. All right. So again, today is April 29th. Tomorrow is April 30th, 2025. This is the instruction video for what we're going to be involved with tomorrow. Let me stop sharing this. Okay, I'm going to have to do something because I'm getting too much background noise. Yeah. Not sure why. I apologize to you guys for all this here noise in the background. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me now. All right, so here's what's happening, so everyone will know. We know far too long that the Black people all around the world have been discriminated against, been hated on by all types of non-African people, and so the time has come now where we are about to turn the tide, and there's a spiritual component to this because you can't keep lying to people and getting away with it. And that's what some people have been doing for a long time, taking the resources God put in Africa and using them for greedy purposes. The time is up. For those who never heard of Burkina Faso, let me tell you real quickly what's happening. So we had three countries, 55 countries in Africa. There's three countries that broke away from the military rule that was there. They call them coups d'etats, meaning the military took over the government. Historically, Europeans have used coups d'etats to take over and overthrow legitimate governments in Africa so that they can be puppets to them. God gave Africa those natural resources, and there have been puppet African leaders who go along with Europeans for a place in Paris, a place in Britain that they can be after they retire from allowing their countries to be plundered by these evil governments, these governments that never said sorry, these unrepentant governments. And so Ibrahim Traore is the youngest president in the world, 37 years old, and he is a part of the three that took over the government from puppet African leaders. It's MBN, that is Mali, where Mansa Musa hails from, the richest man ever, who, because he was so filthy rich, led voyages to the Americas way before 1619 when we allegedly got here. And some of those people on those voyages stayed in America. That's why we was here before the Europeans ever even came over here. So just know Mali is crucial from that standpoint. They are the ones that got a lot of Africans to the Americas. Burkina Faso is the B, so M for Mali, B for Burkina Faso. And then the last one is Niger. Looks like nigger, but it's Niger, Niger. So the two other military leaders that's running the government in Niger and Mali are older gentlemen, strong Black men. However, Ibrahim Traore is the youngest. And that's what I believe is motivating the whole world because they see the young boldness. But I thank God for those two older generals who are standing, appear to be secure with themselves and not worried about this young man getting all the attention. So what's happening about 3 years ago since they took over, we highlight Burkina Faso. This is what Ibrahim Traore has done. First thing he did was to not come into office and try to be the man. He stayed humble. He didn't accept the salary that other people did, the extravagant salary. He didn't accept the Mercedes-Benz, the European cars. He shut down France, who, keep in mind, France had 14 countries in the western part of Africa that they've been robbing, making them deposit their money into French banks and then using exploitative rates to get their money. Just totally wrong. And the United States of America, under both Democrats and Republicans, didn't say nothing while their people starved to death, who have had all type of bad things happen to them while America looked the other way and worried about other governments when they looked the other way, what France has been doing. So there's a price to pay for the French government for what they've done. But anyway, going back to what Ibrahim Traore has done, he took over the gold mines, and for the first time, they produced their own gold bars. He kicked out French official language. He made them stop wearing those wigs that portray England stuff. He made sure that the language was African. He made sure that the children had they can go to school for free, uniforms. He bought so many tractors so they can get their agriculture together and stop depending on outsiders for food. He survived over 20 assassination attempts. Most people have only gone through 2 assassination attempts. He's gone through 20. So that lets you know God has him. So what we're going to be doing all around the world tomorrow, April 30th, is standing up and saying that we recognize that there are evil spirits and there are cowardly leaders in government that are looking the other way while Africa, the whole continent of Africa, is being exploited by some very evil governments, unrepentant governments who never said sorry for the wrongs that their great-great-granddaddies have done. And so we are now letting them know we have this technology, social media. We're not going to sit by and let you do what happened with Muammar Gaddafi. I personally think President Obama should lead this effort on the people that listen to him and follow him because of what he allowed to happen to Muammar Gaddafi, who had done the same thing in terms of taking the natural resources and building up his people in his country. So technically, Barack should be leading this effort to do right by this young man, the youngest president, to prevent him from being assassinated and killed by evil ones, unrepentant ones. The other thing is, so if President Obama hear this, fine, that's what we would love for you to do. If not, the people who standing up starting tomorrow, no matter what. The other thing that I want to make sure people know the background about this brother that's crucial. He is very vocal about calling out who the players are. And just like historically, they use our own people. And the people who benefit from this are the Europeans. And let me just say this so people know. The equator is the middle of the world. And near the equator, you can grow everything. There are certain things that just don't grow in Europe. So without Africa, Europe will be in very serious trouble, from things agriculturally to the minerals, you name it, fuel, gas. There are pipelines leading from Africa to Europe, giving them gas. So please know they are dependent. And instead of being a good human being, the government, and saying, let's broker a deal, a fair deal, they want to exploit. They want to say Ibrahim Traore is stealing, that he's offering in Russia and China and North Korea. But let me just give you guys some background. Russia never colonized Africa. However, the Berlin Conference, 1884, they did. And these are the same governments who never paid reparations and kept exploiting Africa. So when they talk about the wrongs and not wanting to work with Russia, Russia has never colonized Africa. Russia helped prevent Italy from taking over Ethiopia, the only country that wasn't colonized in the continent. It was Russia that helped them. It was Russia that helped South Africa from apartheid when America looked the other way and endorsed people from outside being in the country of South Africa, taking their resources, killing their people. So just know when they say that's the enemy, they're talking about the white enemy. They're not talking about the enemy to black people, because we have an enemy who hasn't said sorry, who hasn't attempted to do repair. And remember, reparations isn't just money. Reparations is 3 things. First, it's an acknowledgement that you did wrong. We can't go forward if you won't even tell the truth. And that's what we're stuck with, people who don't want to tell the truth. The second thing of reparations is to give back what you took. We have museums, stuff that was taken, they still holding on to it. We have animals in their zoos making them money that belong to Africa. So we can't say we for reparations, let's move on, when we won't do telling the truth, meaning all the books, textbooks, signs, statues, all those are lies. And you can't have reparations giving money and keep the lies going. There are people who really believe Christopher Columbus discovered America, even though people was already here. So reparations is telling the truth, giving back what you took, and then paying compensation to make whole. And you don't go from injury to peace. You go injury, repair, and then peace. If you skip the repair, you're going to be where the society is now. And society is waking up now because the world is seeing that for some reason, the most populous people on earth are the Asian, the Chinese. The next are the Africans. Third are the Indians. All of those are double digit in world population. The small people are the Europeans, the Arabs, and the Latinos. So how is it that the Arabs and the Europeans, small populations, did so much wrong to the Africans? How is it that the Asians, the Chinese, and the Indians have not? Got to ask ourselves these tough questions. So what tomorrow is about, to me, the fact that the whole world is going to be standing for Ibrahim Traore, it is the confirmation or the affirmation that their time is up. Their time is up. Now, we are very forgiving people, so we're not calling for violence against evil, unrepentant ones, but you're being in the center, you being the always involved, you're going to learn to lay back, chill, go with the flow, and not have to be in charge, not have to be the lead. The demographics of the world is changing, and we had to help people who are used to being the center know how to not be the center. And we don't have to help them, but it will be good to help them so that way they can manage the stress of not being in control. That's what the future holds. So what I'm saying to my Chicago people in particular, this is the sign. That's the picture of Captain Ibrahim Traore. And it says Black Chicago stands with Ibrahim Traore, Wednesday, April 30th. I'm going to read to you what we're doing. We're asking our leaders, our governors for each zip code, and for the people to meet on 20 different corners in Chicago, 20 different corners. And these are corners that we've used in the past as our rally corners in the zip code. So I'm going to go around and read to you those zip codes, and I'm going to put it up so you guys can see it as I speak about it right here. Right. So let's put this up so you guys can see it. This is recorded on YouTube, so you guys will be able to watch it later. So I'm going to start all the way on the left where it says BS1, 47th and Cottage Grove. So if you live in that area, meet us there at noon at 11:50 because this is a 5-minute operation. We're not going to be out there long. We're going to stand with our sign saying leave Captain Ibrahim Traore alone, or we stand with Captain Ibrahim Traore, or no killing of an African leader for his people, whatever you want to say. But we're standing in solidarity of our brother here. 47th and Cottage Grove. All right. We're going to be at 79th and Weston. We're going to be at 79th and Cottage Grove. We're going to be at 87th and Creegear. We're going to be at 71st and Stony Island. We're going to be at Madison and Laverne. We're going to be at 111th and Michigan. We're going to be at 300 South California. That's Jackson in California. We're going to be at 63rd and Damon. We're going to be at 95th and Ashland. We're going to be at Madison and Pulaski. We're going to be at 63rd and Weston. We're going to be at 16th and Homan. We're going to be at 51st and Racine. We're going to be at 63rd and Halsted. We're going to be at North Avenue and Laramie. We're going to be at 61st and Cottage Grove. We're going to be at 79th and Ashland. We're going to be at Chicago Avenue and Pulaski. And finally, we're going to be at 35th and King Drive. Let me take this picture down. Now, everyone that we know of will be downtown at 219 South Federal at the Dirksen Federal Building there at 1 p.m. I'm going to make it down there too. So I'm going to do the Chicago local neighborhood 12 noon. And I'm going to go head downtown at 1 o'clock and stand in solidarity with everyone else. I hope you can spare that time to do the same thing. But in each of these zip codes and those blocks I just read to you, it's real simple. We just want to go out there with a sign. We want to take the picture on the corner saying, I stand with Ibrahim Traore. That picture is going to be used as a collage for 20 different neighborhoods in Black Chicago saying the same thing. We're going to then go live. I'm going to send you guys the YouTube link so you can join me on the live. Make your statement that you want the world to know. We're going to put it on YouTube just like this video here is. And we're going to make sure that we have both the video forever in the YouTube. We're going to have a picture, the collage showing that we all over Black Chicago said stand down. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. Hopefully this answers the questions. We're going 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, it's a wrap. We all are going to go back to our day. So we're clear on this. Those blocks are our rally blocks anytime we want to send a coordinated message. Whether this time it's about Ibrahim Traore, it might be about something else, but those are the blocks that's in the zip codes where we want to be able to assemble to send a message in coordination. So just remember that. After this, many people say, "What? Will you go do that? Then what?" Well, just know every zip code in Black Chicago is linked to a different country in Africa. I'll show you that so you can see that. And why that matters is we're already on this global pathway of coordinating together. Today is the 4th Tuesday of the month. And so that red circle there represents today's agenda, which is South Austin. It is St. Louis, Missouri. You can see it's France. So we're looking at the Afro French in France, not the European French, the ones who are neglected, shot by the police, etc. in France. And then it's linked to all our lawyers. This here is our global structure that allows us every day to go around this table here in the chairs and spend energy on each one of those. So for all our people, possibly critics who say, what is this going to do? This is going to allow us to, number one, get used to using our rally points. It's going to motivate us to learn more about what you're linked to. So that way you can remember and coordinate and let us know who you know in any of those jurisdictions so that we as a collective can start being more synchronized and operating in harmony on how we pool our money together, stop giving our funding to others. I'm going to read to you something so people who may not know how the government works. But the U.S. Senate is the most powerful body in the world, more powerful than the president. The president is the executive branch. The ones who make the laws is the legislative branch, and the Senate, who serves 6 years at a time, are the long-serving, most powerful ones. There's 50 states. There's only 2 senators per state. With the Black population in America, we should have about 14 U.S. senators. We have 3. That's a problem. We represent 13% of the population. We have 3% of the Senate, the most powerful body that makes decisions all around the world. The U.S. Senate make decisions that governments all around the world live with. All right. In our Senate, there's 97 non-blacks and 3 blacks, 2 Democrat, 1 Republican Senate. Mississippi, the blackest state in America, should easily have 2 black senators. If we have 40%, and that's the goal, is to get from 38% to 40% down in Mississippi, we can take the state that produced the most millionaires before 1860, before New York took that over, and we can make that a black sanctuary. That is needed. Everyone else has a sanctuary except us. We need a sanctuary. Why that matters, because I'm about to read to you the Senate, the Armed Forces Senate, that had the hearing where you heard the unfortunate general over AFRICOM in Africa set Ibrahim Traore up for possible overthrow or assassination. And this brother, unfortunately, said that he is taking the resources of gold, what God gave him, and using it to protect himself. Yep, he's doing that. That's part of what he's doing. But guess what? He's not doing it for himself. He's doing it so that they can free themselves from colonial France who owes reparations. So he is using Russia to protect them. And I thank God for Russia protecting them. Russia has more nukes than America. All right. And that matters because if he didn't have the protection of a superpower behind him, I believe they would have done something sooner. So I think the white government, people in government have to really look in the mirror and say, you know what? The game is over. The game is over. You're not going to tell us who the enemies are. The enemies is people who won't tell the truth, don't want the truth to be out there, who don't want to repent, ask for forgiveness, who want to say just move on, get over it, but say never forget 9/11. So you represent the problem, not these foreign governments who's saying that we want to do trade with you, not exploit with you. So we got to be mindful, Black people, of that whenever they talk about who the enemy is, our enemy is those who want to ignore us, bring others over here and replace us, things of that nature, tell us to get over it. That's who our enemy is. So let me read to you. There's 27 members on the Armed Forces Committee. This is the committee that is watching what's happening politically all around the world. There's 14 Republicans because Donald Trump is in power. So the Republicans have the chair seat. So there's 27 total. 14 of them are Republican, 13 are Democrat. I'm going to read to you who these leaders are on the Armed Forces Committee. What we do tomorrow, we have to communicate to this population here because they're the ones who's going to make decisions and recommendations and so forth. Jim Banks, he's a Republican out of Indiana. That's here. Ted Budd, he's a Republican out of North Carolina. Tom Cotton, he's a Republican out of AR is Arizona, I believe, or Arkansas. Yeah, sorry. Kevin Cramer, he's a Republican out of North Dakota. North Dakota is small, very little population. Again, one of the reasons why we should have 14 black senators, because some of these places are so small. Vermont is smaller than Detroit, and that's a state, so they got 2 white senators. They 90% white, and Detroit, because they're inside Michigan, don't, even though we got more people. So that's a structural issue that we have. So anyway, Kevin Cramer is out of North Dakota, small state, but he's in a powerful position. Joni Ernst, she's a Republican out of Iowa. Deb Fisher, she's a Republican out of Nebraska. Mark Wayne Mullins is a Republican out of Oklahoma. Mike Rounds is a Republican out of South Dakota, another small place. Eric Schmidt is a Republican out of Missouri. Rick Scott, a Republican out of Florida. Tim Sheeny, a Republican out of Montana, very small place. Dan Sullivan, a Republican out of Alaska. Tom Tuberville, a Republican out of Alabama. Alabama only have 4 million people in the whole state. Chicago got 2.9 million in just Chicago. So that's, again, these small states that got very few people compared to the packed-in cities that we're in. But because of that, they have those 2 senators. Black people, we got to recognize that as long as we stay in these urban centers, they got us outflanked, and therefore they're going to have the power in the Senate. And then the head person is Roger Wicker out of Mississippi. He is the chairperson of the entire committee, meaning where he don't want to come forward, won't come forward, and it'll never get to the 100 senators because he is the one that can stop it. He's from Pontiac, Mississippi, and there's only 5,500 people where he comes from. I say that on the Republican side so that you guys know these are the people who have the power to say, leave Ibrahim alone. But instead, on the committee, you Google it, you can look it up. They are talking about how China, Russia, North Korea are gaining influence. They're not talking about repairing the wrongs that's been done to the continent. Lets us know everything we need to know. So that's the 14 Republicans that we're going to make sure hear about us and hear about how Black people feel. There's 13 Democrats. Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, small state. Tammy Duckworth, Illinois. We're going to make sure our Chicago people let Tammy know how they feel about what they're trying to do to Ibrahim Traore. Kirsten Gillibrand out of New York City. Mazie Hirono out of Hawaii, Democrat out of Hawaii. Tim Kaine, Democrat out of Virginia. Mark Kelly, Democrat out of Arizona. Angus King, Democrat out of Maine. I think that's Maine. Gary Peters, Democrat out of Michigan. Jack Reed, he's the minority leader, just like Mr. Roger Wicker is the majority leader on this committee. Jack Reed is out of Rhode Island, a super tiny place, all right? Jackie Rosen, Democrat out of Nevada. Jeanne Sheenan is a Democrat out of New Hampshire, another small state. Eliza Slocum, a Democrat out of Michigan. 2 Democrats out of Michigan. You see that? So that again, Mississippi, we should have 2 Democrats, or we should have 2 Black people. These are mainly all white. We have a few Asian in there. And then Elizabeth Warren, Democrat out of Massachusetts, very small place. That's the 27 people on the Armed Forces Committee. These are the people who's going to make recommendations and who's going to have the secret clearances to know what's really happening on the ground. Many of them probably wasn't there when Hillary Clinton and cheered about Muammar Gaddafi being killed, who wanted to unite Africa together and make sure that the gold was back in their money, which would have disrupted global order. So that's a lot of information I know I gave you guys. Let me sum this up. I want to sum this up. The bottom line is this: change is coming. And I'm saying this to people who might not want to see the change come. The demographics are changing, change is coming. And the best thing to do is to embrace the change. Don't resist the change. The change is coming whether we like it or not. So the best thing is to get in the groove and the flow so that you can see how to position yourself so that you can benefit. The worst thing you could do is try to hold on to something that's inevitable. The population is changing, the demographics are changing, and to people who may think that the black people or are going to fall under other ethnic groups, I would say it this way: there's over 1 billion black people, African people. All right, over 1 billion. There's 1 billion Indians. The Indians are very peaceful people. You don't hear much from the Indians, but you have this small population that feels like they have to be in control, and the numbers are changing. And so, as we see this movement take place, I believe we're going to be able to have better relationships once we get a certain group to become a little bit more humble and not have to be in the center of attention. My direct number is area code 312-405-8844. That's 312-405-8844. Join us tomorrow at the location that we listed on there so you guys can send your solidarity message to Ibrahim. And Brother Ibrahim, if you're watching this or you see this, I just want you to know, man, you inspire me, you motivate me because you're standing in the line of fire for your people. And it appears that you're not motivated by materialistic stuff, European cars, European trips, all of that stuff. You're standing on what God appears to put in your spirit, that we have to do this for our people, our African children who are starving, who is hurting, who are orphans. This is the wrong that's been done to black people. And I'm glad to know that you're standing on business, 10 toes